Folks, thanks for joining me. Okay, so this should be episode, I guess, 15, 14, who knows, of Resonant Rise. I kind of don't record in perfect order. And I have a bunch of stuff I want to do. Last time you saw me build these most excellent sonar goggles and enjoyed using those, right? They're super cool, super cool. But this time we're going to start by actually working on some automation, and it should be exciting. I'm hoping because I'm definitely going to be building some stuff. I have never actually built one before. I kind of deliberately didn't practice this build. I'm hoping that I can show you how I really build, but also how we can troubleshoot a build with new mods. Because one of the things that a lot of people talk to me when they talk to me about Resonant Rise is they feel a little intimidated. They're like, oh, I don't really know if I don't have a build to work from, what can I do? I've actually had 3 people say that to me independently. And I thought, oh, well, that's a good thing to address. How do you troubleshoot a build? How do you improvise a build? How do you work on a build in real time? So I'm going to try and do that for you. And for some people that may be like, duh, you just do it. For other people, I think they feel genuinely concerned and they don't want to like mess up or anything. And you're not going to mess up. So it's not a big deal. So I'll show you how I build from scratch and what that looks like. So let me just grab what we need and we'll get started. Okay, folks, so I think I have most of what I need to get started with this build. So as you can see, I have 2 planters, some spruce saplings, a bunch of seeds, a tool for planting. I probably should grab some buckets, but I also have my teleposers. I need to grab my conduit still, I just realized. Conduit, but we're going to be expanding our primary our farming process system to also start producing wheat and additionally extra wood. Now, there's a bunch of reasons that we want to have the extra wood, not the least of which is that I'd like to store a bunch of spruce because I'd like to start improving on my base. I'd like to build out my magic room next because I'll be getting more into Thaumcraft very soon. To do that, I need to have a nice environment to work in. Obviously, I want to choose it carefully. I have a pretty nice build in mind. Poppycocks gave me some inspiration that I think I can use, but I want to start with a spruce wood floor. For that, we need a lot of spruce wood. Also, an excess of spruce wood is never bad to have, or just wood in general, because we can use that for burning for boilers. So let's see, I also will need some wire, I think. We're running a little low on wire. How are we doing on insulation? Not badly. We could make some more. Okay, so let's head up topside. It looks like it's daytime now. I was just sort of waiting for the sun to rise. And take a look at what we got up here. As you can see, I built a little mattock. This is a nice tool from Tinker's Construct, just to handle the issues. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So we'd like to do, and I'll show you how this works in just a minute. If you're a little confused, don't be, because we'll manage to make this all work out nice and easily. But what we'd like to do is extend the farming around this area, right? Just so that we have a little bit better control over, exactly how we grow things and what we grow. So the first thing we're going to do is just dig out a little bit in here, right? And that looks good. Let's get our wire and just kind of extend this over just a wee bit, right? Right there to here. Right. Okay, so let's grab our planter, toss this down here. You know what? No. Let's show a little bit of foresight, a little bit of appreciation of our situation, and let's be a little bit more proactive. What I mean by that is that we're going to want, if we're going to be planting tillable crops, we're going to want to be a little bit more careful about how we, where we place things. And so we're going to want to go a little bit further so that we have room for water in our composite farm. There we go. 1 should be plenty. All right. So this particular fellow, this particular system will be running our wheat farm. Now, to make him work properly, we need to get him connected to our Infinitube system as well, right? Because he needs to be provided with the things he's supposed to plant. So let's get our Infinitubes on the hotbar. Don't need wire for a minute, so we can kind of keep that there. 1, 2, 3. I think we'll have enough for all our builds. I think we've built enough stuff. Whoa, whoa. Okay, that runs right there. That'd be perfect because we can just run all this stuff around too. That'd be great. In fact, why don't we even put this over here and just kind of run that over the top for now to express our intent. We don't even need to have that, do we? Okay, And just dig down here and dig right here. And now what we're going to do is toss down our teleposer. Now, like before, I'm just going to toss one down right here for color reference. Okay, so he's going to take input from dark blue and output to light blue. And this is going to be our little wheat farm. So we want input from blue and output to light blue. Is that right? Did I just totally confuse myself? Yeah, input from blue. Wait, no. No, that's right. That's right. Okay, I'm good. Output to light blue. Okay. And he's going to take an input of, what was this guy's tag? Let's just dig right there. Planter goods. Okay. So you want planter goods. And what's more, you want only seeds. Okay. And now, for now, we're going to toss the rest of our seeds in here. And we'll just, to be judicious, we will put a filter on all of these. Ta-da! Right. That's actually kind of all we have to do. You'll see what I mean in just a sec. For now, once the system gets going, then it'll start looping back on itself and it'll be easy. But for now, we don't have to worry about that so much. All right, so let's get some dirt. I think it's been sticking in my digger's pack. And let's cover this all up. Way of Time is back on our server. Guy can't stay away. He can't stay away. He's always playing. ABP. Always be playing. So let's cover this all up. Well, yeah, for now. For now, we'll dig around it in a minute. We can leave that gap down there. It'll be useful later on. Okay. Now, if we, what we need to do to make sure that this stuff all grows nice and quick, right, is we'll need some water. Where we'd like to put it. I think we'll want to put it right here because we'll also have another field over there. And that's why we space this out by 1. Now, some people might be asking, Dave, how is this possibly going to work? Because your harvester just doesn't have the range for this, right? It has a 3x3 range. What the heck are you going to do? Right? Well, worry not. I have a plan. And that plan is upgrades. Say it with me now. Upgrade, upgrade. Minefactory Reloaded devices, just like a lot of planter systems, including forestry, when you really think about it, have this ability to be upgraded. And that upgrade ability, it varies from mod to mod how they do it, but in our case, it's just a slot. So we'll be able to do that. Let me just grab a bucket just to get the water down. And we'll be good. Come on. Ugh. Doors. They're never not buggy. Doesn't matter how fast your server is. Okay. 1 water, and then just 2 for good measure. 2 for good measure. Whee! I really love the jumping. I love my ups. That's what I'm saying. I'm loving that I have big ups. Okay. Right. So if we till this soil here, this soil right here, and then we make sure that the soil can't be grown over, we'll build some fences in a little bit just to make sure nothing gets trampled, but it shouldn't be a problem. So let's bring this back on. Let's just go right click. That's why I made one of these. I don't have this installed in my Power 2, and it's kind of ludicrously expensive. So now, is that gonna, are you powered up? You're not powered up. Why not? Oh, that's right. I disconnected the power downstairs. All right, let's resume the power, and this should get started. And then we'll see that immediately, all right, we've already got this set up. And while we go downstairs, why don't we build our upgrades so that we can also see the harvester in action. Right now, the system is configured, as you may have seen, to... the system is configured to just dump things in my AE, which is fine for now. All right, so how are we gonna go about this? We're going to need to turn back on the power. So first we're going to connect this wire that I cut because I was just getting so much stuff. I mean, you can't even imagine how much stuff I got. I got like 8,000 logs. It was like some sort of computer science problem. We good here? Can we put that right? Is it right there? Or is it right there? There we go. Oh, you can hear it going crazy up there. Let's go watch what's happening. All right, as you can see, we've now got a wheat farm in action, right? And but nothing can be harvested from it right now, right? So that's what we have to fix next. Just leave that there. And I think this will be pretty safe to run the way we're going to set it up, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's get over here. Let's just fill this in while we're out here. It bugs me to have this not filled in, because right around here is where our next farm is going to go. Right? Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. So you may notice that those who use headphones, that you don't hear the characteristic hum of my power system. I turned off the sounds from Mekanism. My frame rate is still pretty low, like 11, 13 FPS when I record. It's just my computer's not very fast. But it definitely is better than the 7 I was getting before. Minecraft and sounds, it just doesn't work great. So it's fine. It's fine. We'll just deal without the sounds. The comforting hum of our power system was like, for me, like the Enterprise, right? Like the hum of the spaceship is like, and you just knew you were safe and protected. But you know, we're gonna have to be brave. Have to be brave, definitely. Okay, so what we'd like to do is get an upgrade. So let's take a look at an EI and see what we have. Well, there's a lot of upgrades for a lot of different mods, but these are the ones here. See these ones that look a little bit like brass knuckles? So we'd like to, each one does a different thing. So an lapis upgrade increases the radius of an effect by 1, 2, 3, but we don't want that. We want the copper increase. We want to increase the radius of our harvester by 4. And if you think about it, so what that's going to do is just increase the whole radius across the entire range of the thing, both dimensions. So right now our harvester works at 3 by 3. We put one piece of water and then our one source block of water, and then 3 more blocks of farm. So that's 4 we'd like to increase with this copper upgrade. What does this copper upgrade take? Raw plastic is about the most esoteric thing. Let's see what raw plastic, how much we have. We have plenty. Cool beans. So let's take care of that. This is the wrong machine. Take a look at this one. So let's take a look and see if we just have everything we need to make this. Oh, look at that. We do. Okay, we have a copper upgrade. Perfect. All right, so we're doing well. Let's go up here. It is dark, so hopefully we won't have to get into our witch hunting action. Witch hunter. I need to make a new witch hunter, a better witch hunter, a witch hunter that can destroy any who come against us. Okay, now you see we're still full up on sludge, but I was wrong, by the way. The system doesn't jam up. Just wanted to be clear that I was wrong. Ta-da! Right. Okay. We may actually put in another one of these wheat fields. It's not necessary right now. And as we work, so now you can't see it because there's obviously nothing around here to I'll be right back after I do some witch hunting. Okay, I died to witches. Again, there's just no easy way. Way came over and gave me a hand clearing them out. Ugh, just no easy way to beat them. No easy way to beat them indeed. All right, so we came out here to dig our next planter, and that's precisely what we're going to do. So let's go like this. Doop, 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 doop. This is where we're going to put the next one. As you can see, it should be 1 block away. Right? So let's just dig over here. That's where our planter will go. So let's just put that down right now. Now I realize that I'm starting to actually strain my power system, especially given that I want to start working on some other stuff. Woohoo, look at it go. So we definitely want to deal with that problem as well. Okay. And should be right over here, right? Somewhere around here. I don't want to dig into the water. Aha! Here we are. I sort of, every time I know every episode I'm going to start saying this, it's going to be like my trope, is I sort of regret building near all these witches. They're not very good neighbors. But, you know, whatever. It's more interesting biome than most, I think. More interesting biome than most. Okay, that goes there. Right. Now, oh, it's going to be a pain. The one thing I wish I could memorize. For some reason it eludes me to memorize exactly the colors. Maybe there's some special order to the teleposer colors. I don't know, but or maybe my memory is just terrible. Okay, so let's toss that right there. Our test. So our output should be blue, right? I think down is red, as I recall. Yeah, so our output should be dark blue, and our input should be red. Planter goods. Should be dark blue, and our input should be red. And we'll filter on spruce saplings. Okay, and the reason we want spruce and these logs aren't so good is that if you look at rubberwood, let's go over here. Here we go, rubberwood. And we take a look at the uses for it, right? So let's give any eye a second. Kind of locks up everything when it looks. You see that it can be planked for 3 or turned to charcoal, right? And for a sawmill, it only gets 4. And it gets you some sticky reticent if you sawmill it. So we will sawmill it. But regular wood, non-rubber wood, will actually give you much better results. It'll give you a fantastic 6 planks. So that's what we want. So that's why we're planting 1 vanilla tree farm here. And we're not using forestry because we don't really care about the secondary outputs. In fact, I deliberately chose a plant that gives none just so that we don't get distracted by the idea of it. Okay. Anyways, like I was saying, we're kind of starting to strain our power system, especially with the next part of our build. So we may actually just kind of amp this up a little bit, right? Just bring it up a little bit. Give it an extra... Okay, and then that goes... If I can just get the lineup correct. There. All right. So now this fine example should accept these, and it should, this guy should only accept spruce. Right. Okay. So let's see if this works. Let's actually inject this into the system and see if Infinitubes is doing what we expect. And they're gone. And now they should be in this planter. And here, hey, they are. Infinitubes is great. Infinitubes is just fantastic. I don't know why anyone wouldn't want Infinitubes. It's a really cool mod. All right, we should have some more dirt in here. So let's grab that. Not gravel, dirt. And we don't need any more water right now, although we may put it down just for symmetry. Yeah, just for symmetry. I don't know. 1, 2. It's planting as we put them down. That's kind of cool, actually. That's cute. Let's put that there. Let's get that. Can we get that? There we go. And now 1. And we left a little bit of an extra piece of with a little bit of an extra piece of wire there because we'll probably bring the next farms out this way once some bugs have been fixed. For now, we're going to leave it alone. And let's just make sure that monsters can't spawn here. Okay, there we go. Now we'll also be gathering spruce wood. And so let me go get the next things for the next part of our build, and I'll be right back. The last thing I'd like to do before we walk away from this farm and start working on processing is just really quick. I want to build an independent power supply up there just so that we aren't sapping our main system quite so much, because we're going to start using our main system, which we're barely touching at all right now, but we're about to start using it much more heavily. So why don't I quickly build another energy storage? So let's see, we need steel casing. Do we have what we need for that offhand? No. So we need to make some steel dust real quick. Let's see. I can cook that. This is the universal electricity recipe for steel dust, which I have mentioned before. And let's just make an even dozen of that. Okay. And we will just toss that directly into here. And I hope very soon to start making fully automated everythings. That's part of this goal, and actually part of what we're going to be working on in the next build once we finish up with this little power situation. But let's see what we got in terms of building our energy cube. Okay, so we'll need a steel casing. We got that? Okay, we have one. Let's toss it back in. Next up, boy, I know I've mentioned it before, but I love the way this is set up. This is so cool. It's so cool. So we need 2 energy tablets. I think we have everything we need to just toss that. They don't stack, huh? Toss that right in. Okay, and then let's see. Where'd it go? There. Keep losing it. That should actually be everything, right? Yep. A basic energy cube. Now, we could get more, but we don't really need more. That farm is still pretty small out there. You know what I mean? So, right. What then do we need to do next? Well, what I was thinking we could do, and I don't know if you've seen this yet because it's relatively new in Mekanism and hasn't been working right for a while, is what if we were to build some awesome looking windmills? That's right, windmills. For that to work, we're going to need a few more materials. Let's see, we're going to need, let's say, 2 windmills ought to be enough to power the farm, I think, given my calculations. So let's build 2 more of these. 1. I think we have enough materials to do this, no problem. Okay, we have 2 more. We have 4 of those. We have all the steel casings, so we're going to need some control circuits. Let's build 2 more. I think we have enough, but let's just keep ahead of our demand. Okay, and then, all right. Now, these look a little weird in the model. Oh, are we out of something important? I also suspect that we're losing a fair amount of power from this copper line out of the wall. I did some measurements, and it actually is not insignificant for that distance. So this just keeps all the power nice and local. Oh, there's more witches out here. Hopefully we won't get interrupted by those dang witches. Just the worst. Well, I mean, they're pretty good at being witches, let's be honest. I mean, that's their job is to be there and to be awful. Okay, so all we really want to do is just kind of sneak in over here, right? Lay down some copper cabling. Lay a little bit of copper cabling. Let's see, where can we break into the build here without ruining everything? Looks like we could interrupt right here. Yes. And in fact, we're using too much cabling right now. We could get rid of that piece. I'll have to figure out a way to get that. Well, I'm going to dig all this up off camera in just a minute anyways, so should be no problem. So right here, let's bring this out. Right. And let's put the energy cube at the surface. Actually, let's break this piece of cable. Now let's put the energy cube right there, right? That makes sense. Energy cube, which by the way, you notice it has a little bit of a red charge to it now. I've actually been charging it just by running around with it. I am a human generator with my modular power suit. I think it's super funny. How about if we do it this way? By the way, I'm sure that you guys are super riveted. I'm sure that you're really pleased that I'm doing this part of it on camera. I bet you this is riveting. Okay, there we go. The system is charged. And you notice that I charged it off the wall, but we're going to go down there and break the main power line leading up here. So what are we going to replace it with? Well, let's blow your mind. Shall we? Let's blow all our minds. And let's just put this right here. Actually, let's leave that right there. It'll look good. So we're going to stay to the side of the planter here. We're going to stay well clear of any trees that might come out. Well, let's just break it and put it over here. Even better, I think, is we can put it here. You're like, Dave, come on, show me. Okay. Check out these universal electricity wind farms. 1. Look at this. Oh, how cool is that model? Look at that thing. Isn't that cool? I love this particular model. I'm actually very happy with it too. I mean, if we're going to have infinite generation of stuff, that's fine. But let's at least make it look cool, right? And solars, they're by definition boring and lame. I don't think that there are currently, as implemented, any real downsides to using these over solars. So, I mean, feel free to go for it. In the interim, though, I think eventually there will be the chance for breakage with these. So let's just put this here. Now, we could have done another hydro, but as you saw, these are a little bit cheaper than hydros, and we just really don't need the power of a hydrogen system, right? We just don't need it. So why build something we don't need? Why build so much overcapacity in the system when we can pay a lot less for these guys? And these are not the most powerful systems out there, but they are definitely not underpowered for what we want them to do, which is just, since we're not fertilizing this system, oh yeah, look at that. Since we're not fertilizing this system, there's no real reason to not to undercost them. It's simple. Okay, so and there's our other basement. Oh, there's a witch over there, isn't there? She missed me. Witch hunter. I have you now, witch. Hopefully that doesn't mean there's a bunch more coming. Oh, there's a bunch more coming! I hate witches! Oh, and I hate water! Oh. Witch. It's the season of the witch, I guess. It's the season of the... Alright. That was relatively easy. It's usually when there's like 3 or 4. But I discovered something about witches that's actually kind of cool. I didn't know. Is that witches will, like skeletons, fight each other if you give them an opportunity to. So the new skeletons in 1.5.2 are absolutely terrifying to fight compared to the old ones. They're really, really challenging. I don't know if you heard, but Vanilla upgraded the difficulty of skeletons. But they also are, that means they're just much more likely to hurt each other, which is great. I'm all for enemies fighting each other and not me. You know, I am really hurt here, aren't I? This is not at all what I was anticipating as a evening with engineering. So let's just nom that up. Okay, hopefully we will regenerate before a witch throws a bottle at our back and we just fall over dead. Well, not we, I guess. It's just me, huh? All right, so I've actually haven't built these in a while. I'm kind of curious. Where does the wire connect? Does it connect on the bottom? No, it connects the front. Connects on the front, I think. Right, there we go. So we'll just have these cables sink right into the ground. Let's just dig a little bit more right here. I wonder what someone is doing out there to bring down the wrath of Thor. There's some straight up Thor out there. I wonder if Thor is just cranky because my wind system is so much cooler, right? I'm just taking over. Eventually I'm going to take over Thunder, and then what's he going to do? He's not going to do anything. He doesn't have anything, right? Because I got wind power. Okay. Oh. Ah! Well, maybe these witches are from Thor. Maybe these are Thor witches. Huh? Ugh. Witch drop. Witch drop. Okay. Oh. Another 30 minutes of poison, it feels like. Oof. Poison, I hate you. Poison berries. I need to get something to, like, get rid of my poison. If only there was an object, an item in Minecraft that would get rid of poison. But I'm sure there isn't anything, and I'm sure that no one in the comments will be like, Dave, why aren't you already... Actually, to be honest, I'm surprised that no one has been like, Dave, why aren't you carrying buckets of milk? Dave, why aren't you using that thing from Thaumcraft? I don't even know. I don't even know why I don't. It's because I'm crazy. Okay, so put that there. There we go. Now we'll be charging up that system nicely. All right, so off camera, I'm just going to dig this cable, the other cable to drop down out of the walls, and maybe take care of a few that witch over there. Whoa. See what happens. And in the interim, I hope to... I'll be back in a little bit, and I hope to have everything ready for the next stage. We're going to start processing the outputs of these so they aren't just filling up our AE system. We have farm inputs. We've got that going, and we'll probably toss some more things out there. I could toss melons up there. I could toss pumpkins. I'll do that off camera because I think you get the idea of how we can extend that farm further, right? And I'll actually make them bigger eventually. Right now, we're just using what we have. Now, I'd like to go on to process the outputs of that farm. We're going to set it up so that it can process pretty much any amount of work that we could possibly throw at it. And later on, when we have bigger farms, no problem. We'll just use that system. So I went over this here, and I've been planning to use this as a processing area for my farms for a while. Now, I took the floor, I did it with, this is black granite, which I like a little bit more than the smooth black stone for this application. And the walls will be blue. I don't know about the roof yet. I haven't decided. I'm sure I can come up with something good, but I want to keep working on this build. I'm too excited to actually start building stuff. I think you'll see why soon. In the interim, it is really bugged me. It just, every time I see this blue cobble, it just, it bugs me. And I can't, well, I know the Ars Magica spell is Furnace Touch, which boy does Direwolf love, and I love it too. But if right now ours is on the fritz on our server, if I were to touch this until the next upgrade, it would crash my client, which is not very fun for you. So I thought about it, and I'm like, well, there's something I've never built before, never used before, but I know it'll do the trick, and I'm kind of excited about it. It is in Applied Energistics, the Vibration Catalyst. Now, I think I actually have enough stuff to just build this outright. I have a couple extra AE components lying around. So let's just go like this. What are we missing? Well, okay, we seem to be missing a bucket of lava and a conversion matrix. Do we have what we need for the conversion matrix? Oh, we do. Let's toss that in. Now, as for the bucket, let's toss this. Well, actually, we're holding one, aren't we? Ooh, excellent. Excellent. Just hop down here, take this bucket out. Had some more witch encounters, so I'm carrying more loot from witches. Let's just right click, bucket of lava. Come up here. Have you ever been carrying something and tried to put a bucket of lava into something and then accidentally dumped out the bucket and then just roasted everything around you? I have. It's always really fun. Okay, a vibration catalyst. Cool. Okay, we gotta charge this thing. Where can we charge? We'll just toss it in right down here. I should make a... I put it in here? There we go. There we go. It doesn't take very much power. Okay, so let's just try it out here. Right click. Yes. Just makes a little clicking noise, doesn't it? Little clicking noise. So now I can just smelt this in place. And as you can see, it uses a bit of power, but not too much. Whoa. I accidentally cooked that earth into dried earth. So I'm just going to do this really quick and like a vampire when you drop buttons. Isn't that the myth? Like you drop buttons in front of a vampire, they have to pick them up. They're compelled to pick them up. Well, I'm like that with this cobble. It really bugs me. So I got to take care of this real quick, and I will do the rest of it off camera, and then we'll get back to the factory build. All right, there we go. Nice and clean. So our goal here is to take the outputs of our farms and start putting them into a reasonable semblance of order. We want to pre-process things that should be pre-processed, and we want to deal with things that should be dealt with, right? So for example, if I go in my AE system right now and I look, you can see we have a preposterous sum of raw rubber, like just a ridiculous amount. And this raw rubber does no one any good. It's not useful. So in fact, I'm going to toss in a ton of it right now for rubber bars because it's just not good. What's more, we'll have a use for rubber bars, we'll have a use for raw plastic, and we'll have a use for plastic sheets. All these things we'd like to have available on tap. What's more, though, we'd like to be careful not to totally overload our AE system, because if you recall, I have cells of multiple sizes in my AE system, and if by pure chance a single type happens to get locked into one of these cells that's like a 1K cell, we'll hold significantly less and then waste a type slot in another larger cell when we start to overflow. Obviously, we don't want that, so we want to make sure to hold these things in something that's worthwhile. Now, I have an idea about that, but let's just start initially with the processing, right? Because what we want to do is make sure that things are dealt with. So I think that to start with, what we'd like to do is make sure all the spruce wood gets logged up into, all the spruce wood should become planks and then stored. Now, first, we'll have to make a sawmill. But even before that, we have to ask the question, how are we going to move things around, right? Because we have this area here. We're going to use more Infinitubes. Well, obviously, we're going to want to use a translocator. Maybe we should, put this right here. We're going to want to use this to end the system, and we'll set the input to green, and we'll set the output to blue. And we're going to set the priority a little bit lower, and we're going to say planter goods are our input. Okay. So everything that comes out of the planter goods, if it doesn't have a better place to go, and notice the priority is 500, whereas I set the priority to 501 of all the farms up there. So if any outputs don't have a good place to go, if for example seeds going back into the wheat farm, or perhaps rubber saplings not going back into the rubber farm. If any of those happen, then we will we'll overflow here. And if even this can't possibly overflow, then we eventually will overflow back over to here, which has a very low priority, but accepts everything. So, and that will put it directly into our AE system. So that's how we'll eventually output things. But we're going to put our we're going to put our Infinitube stuff away from now. We've got a lot of mileage out of it so far, and and we're going to do something next. So the first thing we'd like to do is start getting things out of the system and route them around. How are we going to move them? Well, I could use Buildcraft diamond pipes to route things around, and we could use Buildcraft pipes to move things. Buildcraft diamond pipes are pretty cheap, right? And that may be a solution. Let's take a look at what we got here in terms of diamonds. Oh, I'm pretty low on diamonds. Hmm. Well, I mean, Infinitubes could do a bunch of stuff, but we've been using that a lot. I'd like to do something different. How about if we lean on Minefactory Reloaded a little bit more and look at conveyors? Right? Look at all these cool conveyor belts. How cool is that? Now, we also have assembly line, but we're not going to use those in this particular go for a couple of reasons. All right. So what is our order of priorities and how are we going to do this? Well, first, we're going to need to think about how we're going to cut up the logs. Probably the thermal expansion sawmill, since I'm not going to be building the Greg Tech sawmill anytime soon with my current technology tree. Okay, well, if we need that, then we need to power it. How are we going to power it? We have this existing system. We could build another energy cube and run conduits, and we do have some conduits left over, and we'll probably need to make some more before today's done, but we have those. Or perhaps, oh, thank you, Wei. Just so you know, and for your viewers too, if you love what you do, keep doing it. Wei has been encouraging me to keep going. Sometimes I feel like I don't really understand why you folks watch me. I feel like I'm just blathering on. All right. I'm not going to sit here and wall around self-pity. We're going to make ourselves some conveyor belts, and that's how we're going to do this. Now, some people might be like, Dave, conveyor belts are terrible. Why would you possibly want to use conveyor belts? Let's just make ourselves a stack or two of these, since they're so cheap. For one, they're so cheap. Right? They really, truly are cheap. There's no doubting that at all. So 2 stacks should be enough for now. And it's great that they're cheap, but that's not all. What we'd like to do with these is the reason we should do this is because they have been significantly improved in the recent Minefactory Reloaded. What we'd like to do is show that off because I'm a big fan of what Power Crystals is doing. So conveyors also come with a bunch of other stuff that help them do their job, including one of the most powerful blocks I've ever seen, right? It's actually, well, it's not the most powerful, but it's much more powerful than a diamond pipe when you actually look at it. So let's, where's Minefactory Reloaded in this list? Oh, this is AE and NEI always fight. Always. Okay. Where are you, Minefactory Reloaded? Am I missing you? There we are. Okay, as you can see, shift left click, and here we have all the stuff. There's a ton of stuff in here, just endless things. What we're most interested right now is getting a hold of, let's see, where are you? Look at all these cool liquids. And by the way, we're not dealing with the sludge upstairs. We will soon, though, because I actually want the outputs of that. So what we'd like to do is get some item routers. These are super cool. We'd also like to get some ejectors. We might need those. Liquid routers we won't need. I'll talk about those later. We need item routers, and I think we need collectors, too. So let's pick up a few of those. Let's first look at item routers. How do we make these? Ooh, those are pretty cool looking, right? That's when we can make them. We definitely need, let's look at the recipe again. We need some more of these things, redstone repeaters. I think we can make these just right off the bat. Oh boy, and so we need redstone torches. Okay, why don't we make some redstone torches? How much stone do we have too? Are we gonna run into problems with stone while we're at this? Okay, we have plenty of stone. Wonderful. How about sticks? We have plenty of sticks. So why don't we just make, I don't know, a stack. Which, by the way, you can do in the system by just right-clicking. Okay, so now we have that. So let's take a look at the item router. We need these. So let's make as many of these as we can. Maybe make a half stack. There we go. So that should be plenty for now. So let's take a look and let's see if we can build these now. Item routers. Da, 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 da. 8 should be enough for now. How about collectors? I don't want to find it in the list. These collectors are how Minefactory Reloaded ends things. All right, so item routers can route things around, and collectors can actually insert. And they actually have the same power as the brand new thermal expansion insertion pipes. So they should be pretty fun. Should be pretty fun. So let's take a look at these. For these, we need, wow, very little stuff, actually. Are we short on, what are we short on? It looks to me like we are missing a machine frame. But guess what? I actually taught my system how to craft machine frames. Easy. So let's just make 2 of those so we have one on spare. And it looks like we're also low on this. So why don't we make a little bit more of this? And we're actually kind of low on stuff. This is why we need to get a processing system going, because it's pretty easy. Watch, I'll even make some right now. It's pretty easy to make raw plastic, right? Well, here's raw rubber. It's pretty easy to make rubber bars and raw plastic. We take a lot of rubber bars and we toss it in here. So let's toss in some rubber bars and another load of raw plastic. And those rubber bars will be put in the system and they will smelt to raw plastic, which you can't see too easily here. But you can see they become raw plastic. And then 4 of those raw plastic become a sheet. But obviously we don't want to be the ones doing that. It's a waste of our time. So let's go back over in here and let's make a batch of collectors. Okay. And those terminate and insert into machines. All right. So we need a way to power things too. I thought about this, and there's a couple ways we could do it. The first thing is that we could use the universal electricity. I think we'll try something different for the fun of it. Let's look at Minefactory Reloaded's bioreactor. This bioreactor and biofuel generator, these things produce mine joules from plant outputs. And we're going to have a bunch of spare plant outputs. We're going to have seeds. Eventually, we're going to have full-on pumpkins, pumpkin seeds, melons, melon seeds. We're going to have all this extra stuff that we're not actually using because the things have such high yield. We might as well use this bioreactor to actually solve that problem. Now, I think we actually have everything we need except for maybe this fermented spider eye, and we can make one of those in a jiffy. Have I mentioned that I really love this AE system? I really love this AE system. So a single bioreactor should do us for now. And then we need to take the biofuel, which is not like forestry's biofuel. It's different. And we need to be able to power things with it. So I think we have enough to do this, but it's going to be a little dicey. So let's make one of these and toss it in. For those of you who haven't seen, this is the thermal expansion recipe. They end up being a little bit more expensive than other recipes, but you know what? That's fine. Oh boy, that's not going to work. How about this? Okay, that'll work. We have enough cobble on hand. Can never have too much cobble. In fact, pretty soon we're going to have a stone factory. How many pistons do I have on hand? Actually, I can do. We need 2, and how many do we need? We need 2. That should be enough for now. Okay. And then, do we have everything else we need? Let's just try. What are we missing? Machine block. Okay. Let's grab one of these. Begin. And we got it. All right. We'd also like we'd like a place to store it. Eventually we'll build a nice big tank for it, especially when we're getting a lot more things. We'd like to make a huge tank. We could also just connect them directly and make it kind of a single power unit. But neither of those is really what we want to do right now. We're just going to use a few buildcraft tanks. So let's just take a look at the buildcraft tanks. Where are you, buildcraft tanks? There we are. As you can see, it's a pretty simple recipe. Let's just say that we can keep 40 buckets on hand, right? And since we're moving liquid, why don't we go ahead and grab our trusty liquiducts? Wait, I'm searching in the wrong box. Oh. All right, liquiduct. I love these things. All right, so let's think about how this is going to go. Whoa! Let's just hold off the episode right there. I realized, because I'm new to this YouTube thing, I kind of let the recording run long. I have fully like an hour and 25 minutes of footage for this episode, which is just a bit much. It's just hard for me to even upload, let alone edit. So I'm going to cut it here. I'll put that in the next episode, and it'll be great, and we'll keep working on what we're working on. In the meantime, if you like what you've seen, I'm holding the rest hostage. Hit like, hit subscribe, or just, tell your friends, or just keep watching, or I don't know. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I can't wait to put out the next one. I hope you can't wait either.